Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Judy, and on this channel I talk about intentional living and financial independence. So I just want to continue with the story of my immigration journey from Cameroon to the USA. On the last video I talked about how I left Cameroon and got to Europe, and I want to continue from that point on till how I arrived in the USA. So basically, my journey from Europe to the USA is really one of radical faith and kind of just a miracle that God operated in my life, really. So let me tell you the story. So September 11, 2001, I left Cameroon, arrived to Paris. From Paris, I took the fast train to Brussels. When I arrived in Brussels, I had to stay with a cousin that lived there, and the cousin had just moved in with his girlfriend. So I came from Cameroon with my suitcases. You know how we pack food, all the good food that was gonna last me a couple of weeks, maybe months, when I arrived to Europe. So when I got to my cousin's place, we kept all of that. That was in Brussels, right? So we kept all of that. I stayed with them for like a few days, and from there they were gonna help me move to Leuven, that is 30 minutes from Brussels, help me find a place and settle in a student dorm. So I stayed with them for a couple of days, and a situation arises where the cousin and the girlfriend, they have an argument. So they have an argument and it's really bad. I was not even there. I don't know what happened. So the other cousin that came with me from Paris, he just calls me and says, "Judy, you have to get out of the house." So you have to move out. We have to get out now. You just have to get out of the house. Things are not looking good. And because our cousin was staying at his girlfriend's place, she kind of said, we all have to get out. So I didn't even have the chance to pack up my bags. I didn't have a chance to pack up some of the food that I had brought that was in the fridge. I just got my clothes and my little bag with my paperwork, and I had to leave. And I left, just took the train to Leuven. I didn't even know where I was going. I just knew the name of the university where I was going, the Catholic University of Leuven. So I took the train that was going to take me right there. So I arrived in Leuven all by myself. It was on like around midday, like that. It was around the afternoon, around 1 or 2. I know nobody in Leuven. I just came by myself because I have nowhere else to stay. And I arrived there. I started looking around the city. I think I left my suitcase. Was it a restaurant or some places like that? I left my suitcase there. I started looking around because it's a college town, so everywhere were like college dormitory. Thank God, Belgium, Leuven is a, how do we call it, Flemish city, or they speak Netherlands there, but they have a lot of things that are in English. And I was going for a program in English. My master degree was going to be in English. So luckily there was enough English to guide me in the city, and a lot of people speak English there. So I was able to communicate, and people gave me direction. I said, I'm here, I'm a student, and I'm looking for a place where I'm going to stay for the fall semester. So people helped me around. They said, oh, you have to call the numbers and talk to the landlords about a dorm and all things like that. So it was around 2-3 o'clock when I arrived there. So I started calling, and the buildings had landlord numbers, and not all landlords spoke English. So you call, some people don't even answer you. They hang up the phone. I had to keep calling for the numbers that I saw on the buildings for the rooms available. So I couldn't get anybody really to show me a place at that time because it was so urgent. I didn't know where I was going to spend the night. I didn't know. So I just kept calling. And finally I got to speak with one man. But he told me he would not be able to come there to show me the room he had, and I had to wait until the next day. I'm like, where am I going to spend the night? I don't even know about hotel in this place. So I was just so lost. And while I was waiting, I think I was in a telephone booth. I was crying, trying to make my calls. I was crying. I was so lost. And this guy passes by. He was a tall black guy. Tall black Nigerian guy. He stops and say, "Oh, are you a student?" I say, "Yeah, I'm a student." He says he's from Nigeria, and I say, "I need help. I just came. I have nobody to help me, and I need a place." So he looked at me. He was like, "Okay, let me see what I can do." So it was already around 6 o'clock. It was getting late in the evening. So he took me to one of the only girls I believe he knew in the city. He asked her if she could keep me for the night. She said she wasn't able to because she also was staying at someone's place. she wasn't able to make that decision. So it was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with you, but if you want, I am a student also here, and I live with some priests. If you want to come and spend the night over there, you're welcome to come. I said, I have nowhere else to go. I said, I have nowhere else to go. So I follow him to the dormitory, and thank God there the place was just full of priests, because the university is a Catholic university, and I think they had programs for priests from different places in the world. And that specific building, there were a number of Nigerian priests staying there. So I spent the night there. They just received me so well. They allowed me to spend the night there. I was just so thankful. Like, what other choice did I have? Like, I just spent the night with some strangers in the building, and the simple fact that they were priests comforted me a lot. So I spent the night there, and the next day I was able to he helped me around a lot, and we made some calls, and I was able to meet the landlord that had promised me he was going to show me the place the next day. So that next day I had no choice but to accept to take that room that was available. It was a tiny room. It was like I just had a twin size bed and not even enough room for a desk. And the bathroom was next door. I think I was at the second floor of the building. It was a shared building with a number of students' rooms. So I think it was the most affordable room that I could get. I just got it. That was the only one I was able to get. And the guy helped me the same day. He said, oh, you know what? If you call around, you might be able to get a job. Because he was able to speak Flemish. So he gave me some numbers. He said, call this agency and they can guide you about how to get a job. So as soon as I put my bags down in the room, I started making calls. It was a few weeks before school was going to start. So I just had to be a little bit proactive about that. I made some calls. And I had a couple of people that actually told me I could come to clean up the house. So in Belgium, I survived mostly by doing cleaning jobs, cleaning people's home once a week and things like that. And I got to meet a lot of really nice people that helped me a lot. Sometimes they would give me food, sometimes they would just give me extra money. And until I get a chance to do the summer job that provided for me for the next year, and then the cleaning job would just be extra money. The other source of income that I had while I was in Belgium was braiding. The funny thing is, while in Cameroon, until I finished college, I didn't know how to braid. I could finish the braids like these. I could finish the braids, like just finish the ends, but I didn't know how to start it. I didn't know how to cornrows or anything like that. So a couple of weeks before I left Cameroon, my mom insisted that I learn to do braids because she heard that, it's something that can help in Europe. So I went to the salon. We had a salon next door, a couple of doors down the street, and I went there. I spent a couple of days there, and the lady showed me how to start the braids, and that was it. She showed me how to start this braid. As soon as I knew how to do it, I practiced it a little bit. I said, that's what I need to know. And when I was in Belgium, one day I just walked around the street, and this guy said, oh, African lady, oh, black lady. I said, yes. He said, oh, come, I have my wife and I went to Kenya, and she had braids done. She needs them fixed. So I said, okay, his wife, he's Kenyan, he's black. I'm assuming the wife is black. So I get to his house, and the wife is white. And she had braids. I'm like, man, I'm gonna do braids for the first time on a white lady with white person's hair. So I spent about 6 hours there just redoing the front of her hair, just this front part of her hair. And they had done it so small, I just struggled. But the lady was so patient. She had nobody else I could help her with. So she struggled, but I did it. I was able to do braids, redo her braids in the front, and they look quite okay. I struggled so much because her hair was very thin, and I had never even done anybody's braids before. I just knew I could do it because I went to the salon a couple of weeks. So I took it from there. As soon as I was able to do her braids, I started telling everybody I can braid. So everybody started calling me because there were not a lot of people who could braid. Everybody started calling me. The more I did it, the better I got at it. So I became very popular in the city of Leuven with braids. So whenever I had a chance after school, after the classes, I would go and braid somebody. So I made quite a lot of money. I think as soon as I started braiding, I stopped doing the cleaning because it was a little bit more money and more, I could schedule it a little bit better than the cleaning that I was doing in the past, and I just like it better. So I was able to survive with the braiding and doing the summer jobs in the summer to supplement my income. So as a student, you were allowed to work up to 20 hours per week while school was on, but during the summer, we were allowed to work full-time jobs just for the 2-3 months of summer break. So that was the one way we could survive there in Belgium without external support. So what will happen is that you had to secure the summer job way in advance, way before the summer started. The third year of my stay in Belgium was that I was able to secure a really good job to work in a really big, nice hotel in Brussels. The previous year, I was just able to work in a farm and things like that. And I started that summer job. I think after the first week, I was fine. Working as a maid, cleaning rooms in a hotel is not an easy job. It's so tight, especially if you have never done it before. So it was my first year, it was really difficult. And the first week was fine, but the second week I did well until Thursday. On that Thursday, I got up in the morning very early, around 5-6 o'clock, and when I had to get ready to head to Brussels. I was so sick. I couldn't get out of my bed. I was so sick. So I called the hotel. I told them I might not be able to make it. So they say I better come the next day or they were not going to keep me there. Because I guess they had a lot of experience with people starting that job and not be able to finish it. So the next day I was not able to make it there too because I was just down. So as soon as I called them on Friday, that Friday morning, I told them I was not going to be able to make it there, that I needed to come back on Monday. The lady said, sorry, don't come back. When she said, sorry, don't come back, I was so devastated. I said, really, there's no way I'm going to come today and clean 16 rooms. If I have a little bit of rest, I should be fine on Monday. I begged and begged. She said, don't you come back. That's it. So, really, I was so devastated. I prayed that day, the whole weekend, I didn't know what to do with myself. Because that meant that my whole summer was wasted. Because I was not going to be able to get another full-time job for the rest of the summer. Because we had to secure the job long in advance. So I didn't know where to start. I knew my next year would be a mess. So I was just so down. And I just prayed, I cried, I prayed. I said, God, please, whatever happened, let them just send me that money for that month. Because the lady said, I believe, she said they would not pay me. Or even if they were going to pay me, they were going to pay me for that week that I was able to complete. I said, God, make it in a way that they send me all the money for the month. That was my prayer. I said, let them make that mistake and send me that money, God. I just prayed, like reckless prayer, like I just cried and prayed. And I truly believe it. God is good. Guess what happened? At the end of the month, I went to my account and I saw that they had sent me a check for the full month that I was supposed to work at that hotel. It was almost, I believe, 1,500 euros at the time. I was gonna get maybe a little bit more. And they had made a mistake. They paid me for the full month instead of for 1 week, I believe 1 week or less than a week. When I saw that money in my account, I just said, God is amazing. I just said, God. I knew they were going to ask for the money back, but I just had a plan. I said, because I prayed that if that money I was able to get enough money to show that I have money in my account, I could apply for the visa to go to England. So when I saw that money in my account, I was I had surrendered completely. I said, God, if you allow this money to come to my account, the plans that I had for that money, this is going to happen. So what I did, as soon as I saw that money in my account, I made an appointment to the British Embassy. Because at the time they had a program, they were running a program for a 2-year work visa. If you had you had completed I believe some type of training, especially professional training, and you needed a job, like they give you like a 2-year work visa to come to England and work. And I just finished my master in medical imaging, so it was a good fit to go to England and find a 2-year just job program. I scheduled that appointment to the embassy. I just put together all my documents. I just knew this was gonna happen. Like I had no doubt in my head, because I just knew if God has allowed this money to come to my account and you needed to show the proof of funds, and I had enough money in my account to show that I could support myself until I got into the work program in the UK. I knew I was going to have the visa. So I just put together all my paperwork, scheduled an appointment, the day of the appointment, my bank account statement, and I think I had a reservation for the flight or something like that. I just had everything ready. So I go to the embassy. I think I was so confident. I was so confident. I just go to the English embassy. They asked for this. I just showed. They asked for the flight reservation. I showed them. They asked for proof of income. I just showed them. I wasn't even smiling. I just knew they were gonna give it to me. I had no doubt in my heart that I just knew they were going to give me that visa. So I just stayed there after I provided everything, because everything they asked, I had just brought with me every paperwork that I had with me. Everything they asked, I was able to provide. And as soon as I submitted the paperwork, they said, come back and pick up your passport in a couple of days or things like that. I was like, God, you can do this. So that was just a miracle that God did for me. It was a miracle. And the hotel, they started calling me. They said they made a mistake, send the money back. I said, you know what, you have to wait. I will send the money back, but I have to use this money to do anything that I need to do. So as soon as I got my visa, as soon as I got the visa to go to England for that 2-year work program, pack up my bags. I think I sent them some of that money. Yeah, because I was scared. I didn't know what they're going to do to me. So I was scared. I sent some of the money back, but I told them I was going to send the rest in installment because I had no other income. They had just messed up with my whole summer. So I think they threatened me. They said, I said, you know what, right now I need to do what I need to do. So as soon as I got that visa, I packed up my bag. A couple of friends, they drove me to London, and from London we moved to Manchester. So that's how I was able to move to Manchester. And my prayer when I moved to Manchester is that, God, if you have opened that door, I'm not ever gonna do one of these jobs. I'm just gonna trust you to give me a good job. The next job I'm gonna do is gonna be a good job. I'm not gonna find myself chasing here and there. I know I'm gonna be patient. I'm just gonna surrender. I'm gonna wait until you open a good door for me. So that's how when I got to England, and finally I got a job at the nursing home. I think that's what it's like, a nursing home, but it was for teenagers. So it was this Jewish nursing home. I was able to do a lot over there, take care of the teenagers, help them manage their finance, do some data entries and things like that. So, and I had to work mostly at night. So working at night, I was able to schedule hair braiding during this day, because at that time I wasn't going to school. I wasn't in college anymore while I was in England. So I just had to work. So I worked myself out in England so much. At night I would be at the nursing home or assisted living, and then during the day I'll be braiding. Sometimes I will not even go back to my room for a couple of days. I would just leave from one place to the next, trying to help support my family, help my family back home, and just, do it. What I needed to do. So that's how I stayed in England for a couple of years. And then while I was there, I met my now husband. So he visited from America. I had visited America once when I was in Belgium, because in the meantime, my sister had moved to the USA. And I was able to come and visit her here. So when I visited, I was like, no, America is too hectic. That's not for me. I love Europe style. I'm not planning to move to America. She actually asked me to stay. I said, no, I like Europe at the time, until I got frustrated in Belgium. So while in England, right, the family I was staying with was my friend from Cameroon. We had gone to college together. And so when I was moving to England, her sister had a building, and they were renting out rooms out of that building. So that's why I ended up staying. So I became part of the family. I was part of all the events, the family events. So that was my family in England. And while in England, I became born again, because they were fervent born again Christian, and I got convicted. I gave my life to Christ. I became born again from being a practicing Catholic. So I got used to that. I was getting used to that Pentecostal environment and everything. And that year, January 2005, as I started going to the Pentecostal church and all that, the pastor asked, I forgot the exact, the New Year prayers. We had fasted, we were fasting, and he asked us to pray for like a miracle. And I prayed for a husband. I didn't know, I was so busy working, I I had not met anybody serious. I wasn't talking to anybody serious at the time. I just prayed for a husband. I just went about my business. After the 21-day fast that we did that year, I really didn't even think about it anymore. I didn't think about it at all for the next 6 months. But it was in my mind that it was something I had prayed about. And I really took the time to seriously, during the 21 days, I took the time to pray, write about it, because I'm always journaling. I wrote about it. I was praying for a husband. And fast forward, December 2005, I meet my soon-to-be husband. It was so striking to me because it was right before the year ended. My prayer was manifested. So that was just something miraculous that happened. So I just give God all the praise, all the glory. So I'm talking with my fiance. We're making no plans really. We're not clear about when we're planning to get together or get married. We're not that clear about it. So I had a friend who was getting married in Belgium, and I traveled to Belgium, and I decided to extend my visa, my Schengen visa, when I was in Belgium for the wedding. So I took advantage of the wedding, went to the embassy to extend my visa, and they say no. They say no, they cannot extend my visa, and I had just about 6 months left in my UK stay. And my Schengen visa, basically they refused to extend it because that was my main visa, and the UK thing was just another visa on the side. To renew my visa, I had to go to Belgium. So I come back to England without frustration. I have less than 6 months on my UK stay. I don't know what to do. And I go back and check on my, like I said, we had no plan with my fiance, and I didn't want to impose on him or anything like that to make me come to the USA. So I checked my passport, and my American visa is still valid, because at the time they were giving us 2 years visa. I had an American visa, visitor visa, when I first visited my sister like a year before. So I looked, my American visa is still valid, but I'm not clear about my plans with my then fiance. And I just talked to my sister. I said, you know what? I don't want to force this on him, but I don't have any option. I cannot stay in Belgium. I cannot stay in England past these 6 months. I have to find my way to the USA. So I just packed my bags by faith. I say, I'm leaving. And I take the plane with the leftovers, like I had less than 6 months in that American visa that I had in my passport. As soon as I passed the security, my legs almost, I lost control of my legs, because that was just a miracle that they let me in, and I've had those moments where I just was so radical with trusting God. I had just surrendered to God. And I know whenever I have this type of frustration in my life, and I decide to trust the plan of God and not just my plans for myself, things work out miraculously. So really, this journey to America for me has been a miracle. It has been a miracle, from one point to the other, and God has been so faithful. God has been so faithful. It started with a desperate prayer, and it continued with just prayer and miracles after miracles, God opening doors for me until I made it to America. And then a few months, I think before my visa expired, we actually got married with my fiance and I. So the journey, my immigration journey, is just a testament of total surrender and how God works miraculous thing when you let go and let God do his thing. I'm able to testify of his miracle, really, from allow that money to be in my account, for me to be able to qualify for the visa, for allow me to meet my husband after praying and fasting about it, and allow me to travel and get out of England on time before my visa expired. All of that has been a series of miracles that God allowed to happen on my path. So I'm just here to remember and to just be thankful for that time, and just to remind myself, really, trust God, and walk with God like you've done in the past. And I still work with God, but I'm reminded of how faithful He has been. And just also to encourage somebody, really, if God has done it for me, He can do it for anybody, And I've been now in America since 2006, building my family, building my life. Now I'm talking about financial freedom. I'm talking about financial independence and retirement. But I had to come through all those circumstances, and I will not trade all that experience for anything else today, because it allowed me to walk with God and to grow and be transformed really by the will of God in my life. So I'm so thankful. And I just pray, whoever might find themselves in this situation, prayer works. Prayer works. Trust God, allow God to work with you in your situation, and surrender to the plan of God for your life. It is possible. It is possible. Yeah, so thank you for watching my journey and following my journey from Cameroon to the USA up to this point. And like I said, pray somebody who might find themselves in this situation can be encouraged and really trust God and allow God to perform miracles in their situation. So until next time, stay blessed. Bye.